Sometimes the smallest choices have large ripple effects. A rat-faced scavenger in the Mos Eisley Cantina set a deal, stole a small piece of tech, and walked away thinking nothing of it. That quiet moment changed another's life in a big way. To get the story on Reegesk, we have to turn to legends. He's a Remnant, a sapient rat-like species from the planet Aurelia, a tropical planet in the Outer Rim. Remnants are known throughout the Outer Rim for being scavengers and thieves, not a trustworthy lot. Given that so many of the Outer Rim species have this reputation, I have to think of it more a matter of circumstance over the species themselves being inherently bad. Reegesk migrated to Tatooine along with his tribe, an extended family unit of Remnants. He actually felt at home on this world where thieving and scavenging were the norm, but his people were suffering in the dry desert climate. They managed to get an old moisture evaporator working, a device that could pull the little bit of moisture that was in the air out of it, but they didn't have a reliable power source. Reegesk started dealing with the local Jawas and actually got a reputation for being a fair trader among their kind. In BBY-0, right around that fateful day where Luke Skywalker would make the choice to leave one life behind and start a new one, Reegesk ventured into Mos Eisley to find a reliable power supply and swore to his tribe that he would not return without one. Through other trade deals, he had come into possession of a Tusken Raider battle talisman. He mentioned this to a tribe of Jawas that he normally dealt with, and one expressed real interest. His plan was to trade this rare talisman, said to imbue the possessor with a Tusken's strength and courage, for the parts that his people needed to run their evaporator. At least, that was the story. That's why he's present in Chalmun's Cantina when the events of A New Hope go down. He can be seen, briefly, sharing a table with a Jawa called Het and Kik, and a Snivian called Takil. Het was keen on making the deal as well. He had his own scores to settle that I cover in another transmission all about the Jawa. I'll link to it below. Because of Het's personal needs, this meeting was for each party to inspect the other's part of the trade, and the actual deal would go down the following day. The Jawa had a DL-44 heavy blaster pistol, that's the same model that Han Solo uses to gun down Greedo in the next booth over. He was going to trade the power pack that it used for the talisman. Reegesk used the trust the Jawas had for him by his past fair dealings and swiped the power pack before returning the weapon to Het, who didn't notice the thievery. Reegesk was happy he saved his tribe, but he had no idea what this small betrayal would cost the Jawa on the other end of the deal. There are numerous sayings about the best intentions not working out, but we're gonna leave Het's part of the story here for now. For Reegesk's part of the story, he moved on with his life. He returns to his tribe and jury-rigs the evaporator to provide the water that they so badly need. His story, fully told in Legends but there's really nothing in canon to say otherwise, ends here. A scavenger and a small-time thief on Tatooine doesn't raise many eyebrows. I have to wonder what came of things between him and Het and Kik's tribe. I wonder if Even would be aware of the ripple effects that this one seemingly small act caused. That exact ripple is the point of the story and what makes it interesting. Such a small thing, the item, the interaction, and a small act led to something that no one involved saw coming. Then the galaxy just moved on. As with the majority of the Cantina creatures during filming A New Hope, he didn't have a name or a backstory. He was called Ratface or Rodent by the crew, for obvious reasons. The large rat costume was worn by a British stunt performer called Sadie Edon. The spelling of her last name changes in various sources crediting her, but it's all the same person. She played multiple characters in A New Hope, the most notable being Garandan, the Imperial spy with something like a plague mask on who actually talks to the stormtroopers in a series of buzzes. Stay tuned to the channel for a transmission all about that interesting character as well. Nearly 2 decades would pass before Rebecca Mosta wrote Trade Winds, the Remnant's Tale for the 1995 released anthology novel Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina. This short story named the character and filled in the few details that we have about the scavenger, who at the very least cared about their own people. The character would once again fade into the background as they were never used or mentioned in Legends or canon until 2020, they popped up in a very unexpected place. The Star Wars Card Trader app that was run by Topps had a trivia contest. One of the trivia questions identified the rat-faced alien as Reegesk. This didn't add anything to the character's story, but was an acknowledgement at the very least, and I think makes the name canon. To dive into the backstories of more interestingly obscure background characters from the Star Wars universe, check out this transmission next.